G'day guys, my name is Lord Tomo here again with another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collectible review. As you already know, or if you don't know, it is summer currently in Australia and it is hot and getting hotter by the day. Well, it's actually not summer, it's spring, it's going to reach summer, but this is my mountain bike helmet. That's another one of my activities besides boxing, of course. I like to go mountain biking and, you know, obviously you gotta be protected-ish. I don't really... You get the drift. And this is good old Sonic the Hedgehog trying to get himself protected in my helmet. Why oh why, Sonic, are you in my... You know what? We're never gonna find these out, things. We're never gonna find this out, people. Never. Let's get into the item, actually. This is a Sonic the Hedgehog game by Milton Bradley. Bradley? Bradley. It sounds more of a Bradley than anything else. But anyway, this is a vintage board game released more or less in the 90s, early 90s more or less, in the popularity of Sonic the Hedgehog. Now this has an interesting backstory, mind you, on how I got it. Not necessarily where I got it, but how I got it. And pretty much, yeah, that's more or less how I got it. This is an item that I actually wanted in my collection for quite a while. I do actually have rare, like we're talking about some major, you know, A-grade sort of rare items that I will more or less review down the track. I don't want to necessarily flutter with, you know, in the early stages of obviously my channel, but I do have, you know, some rare. But this is one of the collectibles that I felt I really wanted in my collection, simply because of the nostalgic effect more or less, and also for the fact that it's a nice piece, to be honest. Mind you, everybody has their likes and dislikes of what they would like in their collection more or less. This is one of the items I was like, you know what, I fell in love with it. I figured I might as well try and pick it up. So this does actually have an interesting story. I will get to it eventually, of course, but I'll first more or less talk about the game, the box, everything else. Then we get to the nitty-gritty, sad sap stories that I normally end up telling people. I don't know if you guys want to hear that. Maybe if you don't, who knows. I don't know. I like it. It's my channel. I can do whatever I want. Yes. Anyway, guys, so first and foremost, let's talk briefly about the box itself. This is obviously the game. You have, based on the video game, Sonic the Hedgehog game, and you have a picture of Sonic. And at the very bottom here, you have help your favorite rad runner defeat the Dr. Robotnik. A little quick history about the 90s and licensing properties and all that sort of stuff. Companies such as Sonic the Hedgehog is from obviously Sega, and they have licensing rights. Certain companies such as these guys, Milton Bradley, want to use that licensing to obviously sell their products and whatnot, and the terms and conditions of that is to keep the characters original and true to the game, and also keep the logo true and original to the game, and also add their company logo. You'll see that with a lot of items actually. A lot of for example, Gears of Wars, God of Wars, for instance. There's a lot of companies out there that obviously, you know, want to sell figurines and all that, and they're not directly associated to the actual manufacturer of the, you know, the game, the book, whatever. So obviously they get licensing, but they have to keep true to some aspect. It's like saying make Sonic a, I don't know, a pink fluorescent pigeon and calling it Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, why would you? It's not Sonic, you know what I mean? So that's a little back history. So of course you're going to have Sonic the Hedgehog, his various backlinks, his various backdrops, and you also have the original Sonic the Hedgehog logo back in the 90s. It has changed and progressed throughout the years, but that's what it was more or less in the 90s. First off and foremost, I do like this box already. I like Sonic the Hedgehog, I like the way it's designed. His head looks a bit meh, but it looks well, it suits it. And you obviously have Dr. Robotnik, who I will review, or if you look past, but I will review some in the future, of course, Japanese Sonic the Hedgehog items, and you'll notice the difference between the American drawn version of Dr. Robotnik and the Japanese versions of Dr. Robotnik. It has progressively become unified in the future games and future products, but back in the 90s there was a slight distinct difference between them both, which, you know, I guess if you're nitpicking about that, you can spot it out. Me, it's just a nice observation, just a nice to see the cultural changes of certain characters and whatnot, pretty much in Zelda and any old school games. And here you have obviously their various badniks. I forgot which one is. I forgot which one was this one was called. You have obviously Caterpillar. You have, I think there was Buzz Bomber, if I'm not mistaken. You have Chopper, and that was a Buzz Bomber, I'm pretty sure. And that was Buzz Battle, I think. Ugh, it's totally drifting my mind. And obviously you have here, which is a Sega, and you have the general background. and the infamous loop-to-loop, which has to be in every pretty much Sonic the Hedgehog, and obviously the field. What I like about this more or less, I guess, box is it kind of gives you an open space on how his universe more or less looks. You know how obviously in our world we have like sand areas, forest areas and whatnot. Here you have a area that looks like, I guess, checkered blocks, which I think that's more or less a drawn fact that I liked about Sonic. It's very unique, and at the time anyway. Now you see more games and stuff that have more lavish, better looking environment. But back then, but even now, it's still pretty retro, you know. But then again, this isn't going for realism. Like if you think about it, it's a running hedgehog and a human trying to kill it. Come on, guys, do you really see it here? Anyway. So overall, you have ages 6 and up, collect the most rings. So I guess the premise of the game is to collect the rings. Over here, you just have the standard, the same, and the same. Nothing too much to talk about that. However, the back is something more or less to be interesting about. Once again, you have a picture of Dr. Robotnik, Dr. Eggman, whichever way, and he's pretty annoyed about everything. And you can read a little backdrop there. I'll just have it here. You can pause it for a couple of seconds if you want. Run rings around the Robotnik with Sonic the Hedgehog. Whoosh! Pretty awesome. And overall, that's more or less how it looks like. I will show you, of course, but that's when it most likely comes. So overall, the box itself is pretty eye-catching, to be honest. I thoroughly enjoy it. So the box itself is pretty much empty in that regard, or the lid anyway. First and foremost, this is the main reason why I want to get this board game. Obviously, it's not the black bit. The board game itself comes with, obviously, the board. Obviously, you know, it can't be a board game without it. But what sold me on this is it captured the core essence of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. I will bring it in close, of course. So it captured the core essence of the video game itself, and obviously all the various zones, and captured the main aspect of that zone and placed it in. It has 4 major zones. Obviously the final boss is Dr. Robotnik as well. So the first thing in, I'll try to see if I can get a good view of this. The first zone is the green Hue Zone. Already you can see the springs, the money box, the forest-like and everything. So you have no idea. This was the first game I ever had as a kid, and it was one of the games that I guess was more, well, obviously it's an influential game because I'm a collector of Sonic, and you have the various zones. So it's already is breathtaking, even for a board game. Even for other games, it's pretty breathtaking. The second zone is Marble Zone. This zone I had so much troubles with. See this little caterpillar? Hated him because I didn't know how to kill him. I thought if you jumped on him like every other enemy, he would destroy it, but no, you had to roll and hit his head or do a precision hit, which was pretty. What also freaked me out were the stones that fell into lava and got destroyed. You also have the infamous, and you have the legendary spike chandelier, if you can call it that, which crushed you. Nice zone. The third zone, which is by far the ones which freaked me out like no tomorrow, is the Labyrinth Zone. What I hated about this zone is, well, as you can imagine, what's Sonic's major weakness? Water, right? So in this zone, there's a lot of waters and you can drown a lot. The first time I drowned, I freaked out. I was like, what? No, poor Sonic. And you had a countdown and everything. It was, hey, water zone. Maybe I'm growing a phobia. I don't know. And the last zone, of course, is the scrap brain zone. This probably is the one zone that I didn't like the zone, but I love the sound. And so yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And obviously you have the infamous little crusher here where Dr. Eggman will go in and crush you. And you have Dr. Robotnik there, which if you bring in close is pretty weird. So there's that. This is pretty much more or less what sold me. I was like, you know what, that's something I really wanted to get in my collection. And I was like, you know what, it's something that I wanted to get. Now this is more or less how it looks like. I'll show you before I start removing things. Pretty impressive. So first and foremost, with any board game, anything, you need an instruction sheet. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog Game by Milton instruction sheets. 2 to 4 players. Pretty basic. Now I don't know entirely if you are holding for a few seconds, you can pause it. Now after Dr. Robotnik is defeated, all players count up their rings. The players with the most ring wins the game. Pretty straightforward. There are several rules throughout the track, and this is the overall instructions. So everything you're seeing here is pretty much what's meant to come in the board game, of course. This is in mint condition, more or less, so meh. The second thing is, which isn't something part of the game, but it's there, is this little cardboard piece. I always found this a nice piece because you can just have it there standing. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog just by Milton. Just a little shameless plug promotion by their own company, which is not bad. It's just there. This is the special zone. Oh, everything's falling apart. Which is also part of the instructions of the game. I won't get too much of how to play this game. It might take a while. I want to capitalize on how much time I have, of course. And it's quite an easy way to connect it. Wait for this. Oh, that's pretty much it. So the dice can hit the walls. I especially loved this zone because it was pretty trippy and hippie. How you had to destroy the little, you know, colorful crystal eyes just to get the Chaos Emerald to restore peace and humanity and the world to its former glory. So that was that. And this is, of course, the various pieces. Now, pure mint condition, which is, I don't think exists, like near mint is probably as far as you're going to get. These little pieces were in like a cardboard piece where you can just pull them out, push them out, whatevs. So there's that, you know, this is new. Now these are the two, you know, dices, pretty decent, normal dices, don't get too crazy. These are the rings. You have the standard 1 ring. You have the standard 10 ring. You had various Sonic abilities, which is obviously this one, nice little thing, and it had various abilities like Supersonic, Spin Attack, W Roll. I think there was a different one too. I think they're all the same actually. Yeah, all the Sonic ones are the same. And second last, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog in a little stand where you can make him run through the zones, which is pretty cute. Actually, if you look closely, you can see his red cheeks. He's actually blushing. Pretty adorable, actually. And you have various enemies to defeat. Here's one enemy. This is the chopper. If you smack them and destroy it, you'll flip it over and you'll release Joe Sushi, which is one character. If you hit the other character, which is Jaws, mind you, these colors are completely different. You release Porco Luis. Pretty weird names if you ask me. If you hit, mind you, the badniks are not color schemed correctly. That's probably one of the major flaws that I have. Bat Brains, and that becomes Saliakon. Guys, remember that from the comic and the not the game, the cartoon. She's a purple squirrel. Mutation, guys, mutation. You have Bullhog. I hated this badnik with a heart because, like, what? A ball coming out of him, and he releases Tux. Pretty adorable. What other badniks do we have here? Here's another one. Obviously, you can tell this guy's meant to be red, Motorbug, but I don't know why they made it green. No idea. Maybe the same colors. And that's Chirps. What else? Do we have any other ones? Here we go. Here's another one. If I can grab him properly. He's Spikes, and obviously he's Johnny Lightfoot. Do we have any other? No, that's pretty much all the badniks. So the only major flaw that I have is all the badniks and all the is obviously in different colors, which is annoying, admittedly, but it's the 90s. Come on, guys, you know, what do you expect? Now, while I'll pack this away, I'm going to give you a little backstory on how I got this. Now, I did see this. I got my one from eBay, of course, and I did see another one from eBay. I was bidding on it. I was just like, I'm a hard roller. I'm going to win this, you know. No, nobody's going to beat me. It might be, it's probably not valuable. Well, to me it was, but overall, I didn't think much of it. Anyway, so as the bid neared, it was actually, I lost the bid initially, and it was in pretty bad condition, the board game, but I just really wanted it. I lost it, and it was my max bid I think was about 250. I was willing to pay 250 for the board game, which I know it sounds a lot for a board game, but to me it was something that I really wanted. And of course, as things happen, I did not win it. Sad story of my life. So it turns out that this was actually won by somebody else. I don't know who the person is, or you know what's his story or whatever. For I think it was $325 for something that was in better quality than this. I actually, when I came back from home and I saw, I was just like, whoa, we got some high rollers out there. That we do. So I said, you know what, let bygones be bygones. I can't exactly, you know, win it. Once I lost, I lost. Fast forward a couple of years, it was re-released. Not that one, but a different one, which is obviously this one. The guy had it for, I think it was 2-day auction. I don't know if he wanted to have a quick sale or whatnot. So when I found out, I was like, alright, I must have this at all cost. Well, a part of me wanted to get it for 350. I was like, 2 days, you know, place my gambles. He initially had it for best offer, but he quickly took that down and he had it for bids. I won this, surprise to prize, for about only $80, all up, shipping and everything. $80 compared to $325. I was stoked. I stood there, I'm just like, no, that's not right. No, there was only like one other bit of, you know, but then, you know, I was like, no, this is not right. Turns out, this is, I thought this was like a bootleg. I was like, okay, maybe I saw something I didn't. Turns out it wasn't bootleg, it was actually legit, and I got it for $80. Happy as a camper can be. Enough about my life about that. So why I brought that up, it really comes down to price. I got my one for $80, and yet I saw this go for a couple of years back for $325. So there are people who are willing to spend some pretty high, you know, dollars for this board game in its near mid condition. This is pretty much near condition. So I was like, I'm pretty happy. I just wanted this for my collection, not for resale values, you know. Now in terms of rarity, look, based on those two things that I made mention and based on how common I see this, I'm probably going to have to bump this up maybe to 8 stars out of 10. It is pretty elusive in its way. It does pop up, but it comes in various conditions. This it comes in, you know, full everything, all the pieces out there. So, you know, it does vary in prices. So 8 stars out of 10. So if you want a board game like this, highly recommend it. You know, obviously if you're into board games as a collector in general, not just Sonic, but like a board game in general, pick this up. Why not? If you're into Sonic games and a board game collector into, look, this is probably the ideal piece for you. So 8 stars out of 10. It's from the company, obviously, Milton Brandy. Pretty shocking logo. I wouldn't stick with it, but hey, the 90s. Things were crazy back then. And price, I got this for $80. So look, you can go from anything between $80 all the way up. So, you know, if you're going to be a high roller, you know, have some money to spend right there. Anyway guys, thank you once again for watching my reviews. I do appreciate them. I do, you know, enjoy the fact that you guys, I don't know, I'm guessing you guys enjoy my videos. You do watch them, obviously, you know. What else would you do? Anyway guys, thank you once again, and if you have any questions, feedbacks, or anything that you would like to know about this item or anything that you've seen, look, hit me up. I'm more than happy to help you out. Anyway guys, thanks you for watching, and peace.